Hello, hello. Thank you so much for joining this true crime ASMR video. Today we're going to be talking about the case of Alex Skeel. Just as a heads up, this video may be lengthy. There's a lot of details in this case. All my videos are lengthy, I feel like. But I also want to warn everyone that this case involves domestic violence, physical abuse, mental abuse. It's pretty intense. So if you feel like this isn't a right fit for you, or you're not really in that space to listen, I encourage you to find another video or take care of yourself. If you are comfortable staying, grab what you need, relax as we discuss this case. He was born Alexander Skeel on August 17th, 1995 in Bedfordshire, England. He was born prematurely along with his twin brother and weighed only about 2 pounds. He was placed in intensive care and underwent multiple operations as a baby. His family lived in Stewart by, north of Bedford. As a child, him and his twin brother were child models for a supermarket chain. That is the best fun fact. He loved playing football or soccer and hanging out with his friends. In 2012, he was 16 years old and had a friend in a college performance program. One of the visits that he met Jordan Worth, who was 16 at the time as well. The two began talking, which was a very fun and new thing for Alex. He didn't usually talk to too many girls, and when the two became official and started dating, it was really nice for him to be busy and have plans with his girlfriend. A little background on Jordan. She was born in 1996 in Stewart by, Bedfordshire. There wasn't too much info on her family or any other background information. She was a gymnast, and she later attended the University of Hertfordshire to obtain a degree in fine arts with the intention of becoming a teacher. Yikes. So later in their relationship, earlier in their relationship, Alex's parents left for a trip, and him and his twin brother did the smartest thing and decided to throw a party. So Jordan was able to meet all of Alex's friends at this time, and they all said she seemed like a good person, and it looked like they just were really in love at that time. But his mom paints a different picture about Jordan upon meeting her. She had a very off feeling during these interactions, and she just noticed Jordan would make these comments towards Alex that she really didn't like. So as the relationship progresses, there are increasing requests and comments made by Jordan. It starts off with telling him, "I don't like the color gray, so you can't wear gray. Or wear your hair like this. I don't like these shoes." Alex states that he didn't take this as a negative, but rather a way to impress her. I feel like when you're a teenager, these conflicts and drama are almost the way to show your love for who you're with, and that feels like it's like that appeal. And as you get older, you just grow out of that and you realize how unhealthy that is. But I think it makes sense at this age, or just, that's the way you think you express love, is through those conflicts. So in April 2013, for Jordan's 18th birthday, Alex's family buys tickets for everyone to see The Lion King in London. The family, Alex, Jordan, they all have a great time seeing it together. At midnight, Alex texts his parents saying, "I don't know where she went. She's gone." Alex and Jordan were staying in the hotel room when Alex went to the bathroom. He came out and she was gone. He begins walking around the area for an hour searching for her. When he finally returns to the hotel, she's just chilling in the lobby. She's very lighthearted, like laughing. He finds this extremely bizarre, obviously. So his family, his parents, they're obviously like, this is a huge red flag. And they're like, this isn't right. This isn't healthy. And at this point, he's finding himself in between. And he's just kind of saying, like, when it's just us, she's not like that. So on August 17th of 2013, there is a celebration of Alex's 18th birthday, and his mom is super excited to host and throw a party for her twin boys. Both of the boys are doing really well, so they had this really great party planned with a lot of people. One of these guests is a family friend who is Alex's mother's best friend's daughter. She's really young, she's beautiful, and at this point Jordan says, like, I'm not gonna go if she's gonna be there. Alex is like, I don't know if she's gonna be there or not, but let's just go and enjoy, because it's my fucking birthday. So it ends up that this girl does show up, as she should, and later on in the night, there's a report of screaming and shouting. Jordan is screaming at this girl. At one point, she turns to Alex and is like, we need to leave right now. And he's like, no. There's like 100 people looking onto this conflict at this point. And it's just very uncomfortable. She storms off and leaves, and Alex is like feeling the need to go chase her and follow her. And his friends are like, no. But he's, of course, torn because he loves her. So after some time, there's still fighting going on in this relationship. And there's one fight in particular where she snaps his SIM card from his phone. He just thought in that moment, like, you know what? Everyone's right, and I need to go. Family and friends are super excited that he's out of this relationship. When suddenly, like herpes, she's back. She claims she's pregnant, and the family is obviously a little sus about this pregnancy. But she does take a pregnancy test, and she is pregnant. So the family tells Alex, like, you need to stand by her, but you don't need to be with her. And that he agrees with. So he's standing very strong on not being in a relationship with her. And at this point, like, they're going back and forth. She's playing these mind games, when then suddenly he doesn't hear from her for an entire year. Suddenly his mom gets this text saying, Are you willing to meet your grandson? Their son was born Thomas J. in May 19th, 2014. Around August, Jordan brings the baby over to see his mother, which she grows an instant bond with him. This looks like Alex, he's like the cutest, sweetest baby. When Alex's mom tells him, she's in contact and has seen the baby, Alex is really confused and resistant to allowing Jordan back into their lives. But his mom is like, we need to be involved in this baby's life. And she's really hoping that Jordan has matured and changed since the birth. The whole family is willing to give her another chance, hoping a baby has changed her positively. Alex's mom arranges for Alex to meet his son without seeing Jordan because he still wants nothing to do with her at this point. So Alex gets to see his son for the first time, and there's this immediate connection to his son. It's just this really beautiful emotional bond. After that, it all went very quickly. Soon Jordan moves in with the family, with TJ, and they describe this time as being really lovely. Jordan was great, and it was like this great little extended family all in the same home. On January 1st, the couple is together again, and they make it official. Soon after making it official, things start to develop again. Alex and Jordan are out driving when they see that girl from the party walking on the street. There is shouting at her, abusive comments towards her as she's walking. When the mom finds out, she is telling Alex and Jordan, this is unacceptable. We need to grow up, and we need to be out of these little mind games. Jordan responds by packing up all of TJ's things and telling Alex to choose between them and his family. Alex felt like he had to choose TJ. He felt like if he didn't, then she would never allow him to see their son. He moved out and never returned. He was 19 at the time, and his mother didn't see him for 2 years. So in May of 2015, they move into Jordan's family home. Shortly after moving in, she begins accusing him of being with girls while they were together and while she was pregnant, which, not your business. He'd say, I never did any of that, and she would just keep asking and harassing. She then had him get a new phone number, and get rid of his PlayStation because it was still a form of contact with people he knew. His mother at this point has no idea where he is. There's no contact. She's desperate. She sends £1 through a mobile banking app and just wrote, "I love you." She got a response back that said, "I hate you, stay away from me." One day, Jordan comes up to the room and tells Alex his mom messaged her mom to tell him his grandfather passed away, and that was a grandfather that he was very, very close to. So this loss is huge. A few hours later, she comes up and says, "What's wrong with you?" He's like, "Well, you just told me one of the most important people in my life is dead." And she's like, "He's not dead." It seemed like she was jealous of the bond he had with his grandfather and made up that he had passed away. So they end up moving into a home together, and after a year, they decide to try for a second child, which happens almost immediately. Alex reports he feels really happy about this news, and he's hoping that this is going to be something that helps the relationship. But then everything got gradually worse and worse. He went to work at a job, and he was really enjoying this job when all of a sudden she tells him it isn't good enough and he needs to leave the job. It feels like any kind of enjoyment he gets, she wants to be taken immediately. Like everything's a threat. Jordan was at university at the time, and she states, like, you need to come with me every day to uni because I don't trust you. You could go back to your mom and dad without me knowing. So he starts going with her every day to the university. At this time, he's gone. He's MIA. He's missing all these important things with his friends and family. So friends discover this Facebook page of Alex with his name spelled differently, which was really weird. It was like ALIXX or something really weird. So a friend sent a friend request, and he gets this message saying, I never want to be friends with you, I hate you, blah blah blah. And this friend just responds, alright Jordan. And then he was blocked. So everybody pretty much knows it's her. So his grandfather messages him, happy birthday, I love you, I miss you. And he receives a response saying, don't message me again. It's so heartbreaking to see. Jordan is kind of going through now this Facebook account messaging his friends, saying awful, harassing messages to them. Friends and family do see that this Facebook page indicates they are somewhere in Stewart by. So the aunt is like, fuck this, I'm gonna go find him. She has this friend in Stewart by, so her and her friend go drive around the area just looking. The aunt ends up seeing this like elephant statue in the window and knows Jordan loves elephants, so she goes up to the door and knocks. She is like Columbo up in here. That's pretty badass. So all the lights get turned off when she approaches the home. She's like knocking, and at some point she sees Alex's outline inside the main floor, and he's not responding, so she's kind of in this place of like, there's really nothing else we can do at this point until he's ready. So in the home, the accusations of girls talking to him and doing things and liking girls continues, and they eventually go out and go to an event in London, and the arguments of these accusations continue. She she's like, I want to go, and he's like, no, I want to stay and like enjoy this event that we came to. So she's like, I want you to go into the shop and buy a 1-day sleeping tablet. He goes and he gets them, and when he returns, she's like, go ahead and take one. And he does. She then tells him to put all of them in his mouth, crunch it down, and swallow, which he does. He reports he's very much in a daze, dozing off, it's all blurry, and then he has no memory of leaving the area at all. One day when they were driving, everything seemed okay, it was calm, and he was just looking out the window when suddenly she picks up a hairbrush, says, alright, that's it, and smacks him across the face, like hits him. and it's like, I'm pretty sure a wooden hairbrush, which is so his tooth actually almost comes out. It's like hanging after getting hit. At this point, he doesn't drive or have money, so he ends up ripping the tooth out. Alex reports that he would just be sleeping and she would hit him in the head. He'd go to the bathroom and see that he was bleeding. She started using knives and cutting him, stabbing him in different places of his body. He also wasn't eating properly, as she wouldn't let him eat. She also wouldn't let him sleep in the bed and only on the floor. On February 3rd of 2017 at 2:30 a.m., Alex called his father Graham for help. His family gets in the car immediately and drives to that home that the aunt previously found. They go up to the home, and again all the lights go off in the home. They start pleading for him to come out, and he begins shouting, "Go away, I don't want you here." At this point, the family calls the police, who arrive and instruct them to stay outside while they go in. The police come out and they say, "We put them in separate rooms. We talk to them. It's all fine. Oh, but by the way, your son is walking with a limp." Alex and Jordan attend a concert later, and he reports having a good time. But the next morning, he wakes up to boiling water being poured on his back. She then gets this 5-pound lie detector test that shocks your hand. So you put your hand in and it will shock your hand. It looks like a toy. So she straps him into this, but then she also grabs a boiling kettle. And because this is a fucking toy and not actually anything anyone would take seriously, this thing suggests that he's lying. And at that point, he immediately runs off and slams the door shut to try to avoid being abused. On May 2nd, 2017, their daughter Iris was born. Alex is really happy. He's feeling like this will maybe change her and the abuse will stop. The bliss of this new birth lasts about 3 days. On June 3rd, 2017, police receive a call from the neighbors about domestic abuse and hearing someone screaming, "Please stop." Police arrive at the residence, and after some knocking, Jordan arrives at the door. She seems fine, cool, doesn't seem disheveled, and she's like, "Oh yeah, there is a problem. Alex hurt himself." At this point, the police go inside and get Alex medical attention. Alex needed surgery for a really bad wound when Jordan comes in and starts walking him out of the hospital. The nurses are pleading, "Please stay, you need this help." And eventually a consultant at the hospital intervenes and is kind of pulling Alex in and saying, "Are you sure you're safe to go home?" To which he responds, "Yes." Alex just kept saying, I did it to myself, because he was scared of what she might do. On June 10th, the officer who reported to the previous call sees another call coming from that address. He takes the call and goes straight to the residence. Alex answers the door, and the police officer comes inside, where he sees really visible marks, swelling all on his face. At this point, he has his hand in the cast from the previous visit to the hospital. He's asking him questions, and Alex is just saying, like, it's just arguing, like, we're just stressed out. He's still saying these injuries are self-inflicted, and he's not budging on this story. Alex, at this time, is constantly thinking how he is really worried about how she may react. He's trying to give these answers based on what he thinks that she will want, and he's trying to avoid any additional abuse. The police officer is feeling really off, and he's feeling like Alex needs to get out of this environment. He says to the couple, I need to take him to the hospital. He says to Jordan, you can pick him up later. She's kind of like, okay, like, I guess that's fine. So they put him in the car, and at this point the police officer's like, listen, we're not leaving until you tell us the truth. He's still denying everything and saying, I did this myself. At this point, the officer turns off his camera and is like, it's just me and you. Tell me what's going on. Alex is at first like, just go off what the neighbors told you. I don't want it to come from me. But then he eventually calmly says, like, yes, it was her. The police officer goes right back into that home, and he's like, I told you I was gonna have to pay rent. He goes right back into that home, and he's like, you are being arrested for the suspicion of assault. During this time, she's like calm, cool. She's like, okay, yeah, that's fine. And on the drive to the station, she's like, so how long do you think I'll be? Like an hour? What an idiot. It's like she really doesn't think that she's gonna get any consequences or anything for this. Alex, in the meantime, goes to the hospital, where they discover from doctors he's like 10 days away from death because of the severity of his injuries. It's later on that the police give him a ride from the hospital to a hotel, and they actually stop by a McDonald's to get him food, where he's like enjoying the shit out of this food. He's like, this is the best food I've ever had. It's been so long since I've had a hot meal or really anything to eat. Alex remembers having a buffet breakfast in the morning at the hotel, and he's like looking on to this river, and he's like smiling and just really enjoying this food. And he looks down and realizes he's wearing a shirt with blood on it, and he's like around all these fancy hoity-toity people, but he just doesn't care because he's free. So in the interview with police, she's denying she ever cut him off from his family. She's like, oh no, he told me he hated his family. She's like, yeah, I had the hairbrush in the car and I would hit him when we were arguing. She's like, oh yeah, there was a hammer, but I never hurt him. She goes on to say, like, I only cut him, I never stabbed him. And she does admit to using boiling water on him. They're reading all of these things back to her that she's admitted, and she's just like, like she's almost, I don't know, it's just calmly creepy and weird. During his interview after the abuse, he's 21 years old. He's skinny, he's bandaged up. He says that she would beat him every day, and if she missed a night, she would make up for it the next day. They ask Alex, what do you want to happen after this moving forward? To which he responds, I just don't want to get hurt. On September 28th, 2017, Jordan is charged with 17 counts, including bodily harm and controlling behavior. The family gets a call from a sergeant saying, to start with, your son is safe. His mom is like, what happened? Has she hurt him? She says yes, he's been burned, stabbed, and slashed. Alex finally comes home to his family. He's lost so much weight and he's in so much pain. He said the last bullet she has is my children, and I need to make sure my children are safe. Within 5 days, they gain custody of the children, where his mother is able to meet her granddaughter for the first time. She didn't even know she was born. Alex is welcomed back by all of his friends, who are so happy to have him back and know he's safe. Jordan pleads guilty to all 17 charges. On sentencing day, there was really no remorse. On April 13th, 2017, she was given 2 7-year sentences for wounding with intent, grievous bodily harm, and these were to be served concurrently. A consecutive sentencing of 6 months for controlling or controlling behavior was also charged. Jordan was the first female in the UK to be convicted of this charge. Alex says the day she went to prison, he actually felt free and safe for the first time in 5 years. The police officer who took action says he's grateful he responded, but he recognizes the fact that it's unusual for an abuser to be female. It didn't come together quick enough as it should have. He says he has guilt for not seeing more or challenging more the first time he went to the residence. The latest figures from a crime survey for England and Wales showed that in the year ending in 2018, an estimated 2 million adults, aged 16 to 59 years old, had experienced domestic abuse in the last year, and of that number, over 1/3 were estimated to be men. It's also estimated that 1 in 5 teenagers have been physically abused by their girlfriend or boyfriend. It's happening to men much more than people are aware of. Police in England and Wales recorded almost 1,500,000 incidents of domestic abuse against men in 2017, more than double the number reported in 2012. According to one charity, fewer than 1% of domestic abuse beds in England are allocated to men, with none at all in London. It doesn't matter what the gender is. An abuser is an abuser, and a victim is a victim. Today, Alex says he is beginning to understand abuse better, and he hopes to help others understand abuse too. He coaches his football team that is sponsored by a domestic abuse organization. He goes and he talks to professionals about looking and understanding signs of abuse. In the documentary, we got to see a little clip of him covering up this tattoo he had for her, and it's like this new badass lion or cheetah or something. He says he has so much support from his friends and family, and is building a future for him and his kids. So that is the survival story of Alex Skeel, who was a victim of domestic abuse. Some people don't like to say victim. I just wrote what some of these articles said, but and some of his friends and family used the word victim, and I believe he did as well. but I know some people like to use the word survivor over victim. But I thought this case was recommended to me by someone in the comments, which is so appreciated. Thank you. I actually wasn't aware of this case. I'm a social worker and I work with both men and women in domestic violence cases. This one is really intense, but it's, I think, it's a really good way to show an untapped thing that we don't talk about as often that still needs that attention. So, thank you so much for tuning in. I know this was a heavy one. I hope that you're having a good day or night wherever you are, and I hope you have a good day tomorrow. And I will see you in the next one.